Hello everybody, this is Make It Better, and today we're doing with Deku had the Red Thread of Fate part 12. No, 13. 13. Sorry for the long wait. I really can't think of anything, so let's get back into it. As they were pretty much the big three leaving and thinking if Nai will actually get him an internship, and we'll see. So about a few weeks have passed, and they're in class. Everybody's doing pretty well. Everybody, Bakugo and Uraraka are getting pretty close to each other. It's not official, but everybody knows. So it's almost there. But anyway, um, there was a knock on the door in a class where they're still teaching. The teacher came in, gave a paper to Mr. Aizawa, and left. Aizawa looked at the paper and said, troublemaker, Zuku Motoria. And he said yes. And seems like you have a recommendation from Nai. And everybody's are pretty much jealous that they got and that Zuko Midori got a recommendation from Nai. Zuko pretty much took the paper, looked at it, and went on the class. Class went on the same as always. At the end of the day, everybody pretty much leaving to their dorms. A few of his friends asked him what you do or how did you get an internship from Anai and all that stuff. And Zuko pretty much can only say, I really don't know, but I'm very excited to meet him. By this, Kirishima's getting jealous and wanted to see if the Tengo, the guy with multi, whatever he eats, he turned into. Yeah, him. And Kirishima wanted to ask him, but he's a little scared. So he actually took Bakugo with him, since Bakugo is more out since Uraka. And Kirishima is more energetic because of Mina. So they both went off and asked him. As Zuko pretty much like asked All Might, he actually went over this and told Suyu I should. That's the conversation. Hey Suyu, I'm not gonna be able to hang out, but I need to check with the teacher to see how to contact him or how it's gonna work. And he leaves. She's pretty much standing there waving by, a little jealous, but very proud of him. And Uraraka came by and asked Suyu if she could help her with asking Nejire. Yes, I remember her name. It's very easy to remember. Tuss? Tuss? Something. So Zuko have that conversation with All Might, and All Might pretty much warned him that not I and him doesn't really have a good relationship. And Zuko said, and that's why are you asking me? I no. And why is that? And All Might said, well, it's because of my injury. He said I should wait a little longer, but I wanted to keep going and still being a symbol of peace. And Zook said, "Oh, yeah, you should have you should have waited longer." And All Might internally said, "Even my successor says that." But oh well. Sorry, I'm still thinking how I should go. But All Might already knew all this, and actually, he was pretty much gonna say, "There's one person that is also in a ship with Nai, and he should be, as he is not." And he came in, and it's Mirio. All Might said, "Oh, there you are." Yes, he actually he When he heard the knock, he actually turned back to All Might, the big one. Miro came in and said all this thing. So let's go on to the next day. I say that was on a Friday, so this is on a Saturday. Not sure how the internship works. I think it's like after school stuff. After the school, they go over there. I think. Not sure. It never really specify how it worked. So Zuko opened the door, opened the agency, and he was directed where exactly Nice doors open, doors at. As he's going there, Muriel walked into him and did that little scene on tried to make him laugh, tried to be a really good person. And Zuko said, I can't really make jokes per se. Mine are not that funny. And Mira said, it's okay, just be yourself and be always smiling. Very big smile, very big. As he's giving a smile even higher and bigger. And they walked into Night Eye and Bubble Girl scene. Yeah, I'm not sure what that was. And I said, hello, I'm Zuku Midoriya Deku. No, in time. Sorry, I forgot how I call him. In time. And I said, oh. And he's looking and still judging um, in time. Fucking flies. Sorry. And I'm not even outside. Hold on. Okay, I moved to another side of my house. But anyway, as I pretty much gestured to Muriel and Bubble Girl to leave the room. He wanted to talk with Midoriya here, or in time. And they do. And Zook and Muriel said, good luck, and walk off. Muriel and Bubble Girl pretty much discussed like again, thinking that he might have a chance. Sorry. And Zuko now in the room. Zuko asks, "Sir, thank you for letting me in the ship and giving me an internship to work here." And I still judging him, still thinks he's not worthy. It should have been Muriel. And he says this out loud. You know, I already know about All Might's quirk, and it should have been Muriel. I properly and gave Muriel the lessons he needed to be the best number one hero. And I still don't approve of this. And he actually gestures in a rude way to Midoriya, the whole body, pretty much saying, and all of this. And Zuko said, oh, so are you what? Gonna threaten me or do I actually get the job? What exactly is going on here? Zuko pretty much acting dumb. No, no. And Nai pretty much said, well, you will have the job if you take this stamp out of my hand and put it on the paperwork. If not, and the timer once runs out, then you can leave. You're no longer welcome here. And he says, 10 minutes. Zuko said, okay, let's do 30 minutes. And I said, no, 10 minutes. What, you can't do it in 10 minutes? And Zuko said, sure, fine. What are the rules? Am I allowed to use force or anything? And I said, hmm, these are the rules. Anything in this room you can destroy to get to the piece. And within 10 minutes, if the timer runs out Just a second over, you lose. Agree? And Zook said, am I allowed to use my quirk or? And I said, yes, and I shall use mine. And he pretty much uh, said, let's seal this deal with a handshake. Yes, now I gave a handshake. Zook said, oh, hmm. He's still thinking there how exactly it's gonna work, and he got the idea. Wait until the very last second, or something like that. So Zuko pretty much grabbed his hand and straightly looked at Nai's eyes and said, "Deal." And the time he said, "Ready, set, go." Zuko's at the back of the door, looking around, waiting for when he pretty much said, "Go." Zuko is like slowly stepping on one of his threads, walking. Right when Nai said go, he looked through the future for the 10 minutes. And he sees how Zuko is in his sight that Zuko's not going to do anything for the whole 10 minutes. And he is thinking, oh, he gave up. He knew he can't win on this ground. He's too weak. He's not good enough. All Might should have picked better. And all this is in his head. And Zuko kind of like walk around, but not I so keeping an eye on him. Zuko did the first part. He actually drew some papers. Naya is a little shocked that he didn't see this on his in his future at all. It looked like Zuko did nothing. So Zuko, as he threw some papers in the sky, in the room, he started jumping wall to wall everywhere else. But it seemed like to the wall. It's not really. He's jumping on his threads, but he's making it look like he's jumping on the wall. So he's doing all of this and getting a guy to focus and try make sure he hits and dodge it. Zuko has some chances of getting it, but not hitting anything. Right after this took it 5 minutes. On the 6 minute, no, now I said you have 5 minutes to go, or you're out of here. Better think of something quick. This plan is not working for you, Mister In Time. And Zook said, "Hey, nice, you're using my name. That's good. Um, sure, not. What exactly is your quirk?" And I said, "I can see into your future, and I'm not saying anything else." Zook said, "Oh, right. Do you know what my quirk is?" As he's jumping around, pretty much asking him this question. Now I said something about faith or threads, but I haven't seen you use it yet. And Zook said, "Well, I assume you don't. I guess I wasn't really worth your time to look into me." And Zuko pretty much stopped right in front of Nai, about 2 feet, 3 feet away. And I said, "And why should I look into your quirk?" And Zuko said, "Well," as he plucked a string and hold on down the string. This time showing Nai the strings around the room, and say, "Well, I can do a lot of things with my threads." Nai said, "Like what?" As he get closer, and Zook said, "Ah, like this." And he kind of did like he opened his hand and got closer together, almost into a fist, but not really, like halfway, and said, "Like this." And I didn't understand. He's about to pretty much try to reach out his hand and grab Midoriya, or try to hit Midoriya, but he can't move. And I said, I, and he's move and try to move his hand, and he can't. But it's still in his pocket. He actually had his very piece in his pocket with his hand covering it, just to make it a little harder, not out in the open. And I said, "Fine, you trapped me, but you still can't get the very piece out of my pocket." And Zook said, "Oh, no problem. I've never really done this to anybody, but you seem like a perfect choice." And I said, "What are you doing?" And he's looking to the future, and he sees something, but he doesn't understand what. And Zuko, at this point, it's 9 minutes and 30 seconds. As the timer went down to having 20 minutes left, 15, and Zuko said, "Oh, like this." And he plucked every string on Nai's that's around him, all of his strings, at the same time. And Nai pretty much, at first he heard a few voices telling him to forgive, uh, let go of the past, and don't overthink it, too protective, and then it's starting to be muffled and he can't really hear anything. And and I and try and move but can't cover his ears since he's stuck. Zuko said, "Oh, let me, I'll let you go." Now I can't hear this, but he finally was released and covering his ears, kind of screaming to make it stop. It's still going. Zuko pretty much took the piece, stamped it, and said, "Oh, okay," and it stopped. Right now, kind of like how on instruments when you pull a string, it vibrates. That's what it's been doing. It keeps. That's how it's been doing for everybody. But when you do it on all strings, you don't hear nothing. You don't really hear any of the other strings. It's all a jumbly mesh. That's what now I heard, and it was so loud. Now I said, "You still have." Oh, he's trying to act all tough and saying, "You still don't. Seems like you didn't pass the test." And Luke said, "Oh, what test was that?" And I said, "Like I said, kid, put the stamp on the paper." He still feels the stamp in his pocket. And I pulled out the paper and showed it. And Zook said, "Oh, like this paper, it show the stamp right here, right?" And I said, pointing to it and said, "Yes, right." And he turns the paper and said, "Here." "Well, kid, you passed." And Zook said, "Ah, you noticed. But anyway, you're not the only one that can see it into the future." Giving a very shit-eating grin at Nai, said, and just looking at him. And I said, "What?" And Zook said, "Well, if you have looked into it, you would have known that my very quirk, I can see into your future. And I don't really have a time limit like you do. That's why I said 30 minutes. I knew yours just for a day goes a lot longer, but for certain people, I search into you. Your time limit is around 30 to 20 minutes, depending on how many people you have done it to. And I'm assuming, since it's very early in the day, that I'm on the first. So 30 minutes would have been your time limit. But 10, just to test me. For sure, you're the winner. But for you, I already checked my future and yours. So I planned out ahead of time. Now I said, fine. Even though I don't like it, I prefer Muriel to have the quirk. Zuko said, I know, but did you look into his future if he didn't have his quirk? They have All Might quirk. And now I said, no, I can't. Time is set in stone the moment it passes. In the future, it cannot be changed. Zuko said, well, that's where you're wrong. For me, I can change the future. I can shorten it or elong your death, depending on what path I make you take. And I say, go on. Zuko said, first, called, how about this? Check into your own future first. And I said, why? And how long? Zuko said, it's just to show you how it can change with my very directions. And I said, fine. Call 9. Call um, All Might. So he did. Call him. And that very interaction was really awkward. Um, All Might said, and so, what did you... Well, sorry. Let me go back. I forgot about it. So he looked into his future, seeing that he's never really get along with All Might at all. He sees that until the point Zuko pretty much told him, go about a whole month. And Naya said, fine, months into his own future. And it seems normal, but it it seems all normal. Seeing nothing really happens. And I said, okay. Now, as Lucas said, now call All Might. All Might kind of hesitate, but he calls. And All Might already was told by Zuko to wait for a call. And just simply said, I forgive you. And the decision is his own. If it was your quirk, you would have done the same. He said he was told to say that very phrase to Onai. Yes, Nai said, "Hello, All Might," and All Might said it, that very phrase. Nai doesn't really get it, but he said, "Okay, All Might." And he hung up. He had no idea what to say. And Zook said, "Oh, hmm, I guess it's a start." And Zook said, "And now look into your future with your quirk, of course." And I said, "Okay." And he looks and see that during the month, the first time, he didn't really do anything different. Just went to work, did his job, came back, do the same thing for every day. But now he's talking to All Might on Mondays and Wednesdays, talking and discussing at the end of the month. They're back as being good friends now. And after that very end, All Might said, "It's very great you have finally met Zuko Midori and see how great he really can be." He said, and Nai, to his surprise, Nai in the future will say something even nicer and pretty much saying, "Yeah, you're right. I guess my judgment is not always the best." And that's the end of there. Nai looked at him kind of shocked, and Zook said, still smiling, this time a ginger, a actual smile, and said, "See, I can see your future and the face you're supposed to have or shouldn't have." And Naya says, "Fine, I believe you. Can you show me how you did it?" And Zook says, "Sure." And he pretty much spread out his arms and forgot spread area. I say it and showed Nai all the threads. And Zook says, "This is my quirk, thread of fate." Nai said, "And what does it do?" "Exactly what you can do." So he pretty much tell him one pluck of his finger, the two, the three. It shows, and on the third one, it shows Nai exactly how the day is going to happen for today for him. A certain instance is going to happen with him and another co-worker, and he pretty much tell her to not worry about it since she's new around here. And she leaves and said thank you. But it goes on longer and longer, and Zuko actually told him about the four, and said, and four is what I've been using to grab on my threads for I be stronger on holding and jumping. And I said, jumping? I didn't see you use your threads for jumping. And Zuko said, I know. And he pointed to his eyes and said, I can see them, but you can't. I'm allowing you to see them right now. I'm allowing you to touch them and do whatever you want. You're not able to break it though. I am the only one that has the power to break these very threads. And I said, oh, what happens when you break the thread? And Zuko said, well, my first time and my only time of doing it, I actually killed a villain without any physical strength. It left some marks on my hand, but I killed a villain when I snapped their fate is red. And I said, oh, and he was about to say something, but Zook said, but it was the sludge villain, the one about 6 months ago, around that time. Don't remember. 11, almost a year and a half ago. And I said, oh, have you done this before or tested it? And Zook said, yes. I actually had. I'm the one that gave not All Might and Nezu more information about One for All. Oh, All for One. You can ask more questions with All Might when it comes to it. But as I said, I can see to your future and I can show you. I'll show you mine. It'll be a little easier. And Naya said, okay. He grabbed it with all four fingers and put the thumb laying on it and away from him as Nai to hold giving his hand. He does and show him he's skipping a few parts, but showing him 10 years from now as Zuko becoming the number one hero with his wife, with one of his kids, and looking in the background that All Might is shown as one of the crowds, one of the people in the crowds clapping for Midoriya. And when Zuko let go And I saw this, he pretty much kind of smiles and tears and said, "Thank you. I should really reconnect All Might again." So I'm going to end it at this point, mostly because it's 30 minutes. I can't believe I did it this way. I was thinking of doing it in another way, much worse, but nah. The next part will be my last. I'm not gonna go over on the sports festival, or I mean the fall festival, the thing they do the concert, because it's gonna happen from my last video. But Zuko will be playing guitar, not singing. Um, he's not gonna do any dances or anything like that. He'll be on the guitar. He's pretty much replacing Tokoyami, because I do like the ship of Tokoyami and Suyu, but in this way, Zuko and Suyu is together. So thank you for listening. My next video will talk about overhaul fight and how Aries is gonna interact with him and all that jazz. But thank you for listening and have a nice day. Bye.